I recently had to negotiate a medical expense that wasn't covered by insurance. It was $5,800, and there is no way I am paying the inflated insurance rate. My wife already tried to get a discount, but they wouldn't budge on the price. So, I called the billing office of the hospital, and after a short conversation, I was only $2,400 out of pocket. I closed multi-million-dollar deals with household name brands at my day job before I started my own businesses. Before starting any task, project, or negotiation, there's one question I ask that will dramatically increase the odds that I will win, without being sleazy or deceptive. The answer to this question reveals your primary leverage point and gives you an exact roadmap of how to get what you want. Now, I am going to tell you exactly how I do it. When you want to make a deal, you have to realize that nothing happens in isolation. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, you're interacting with one of three elements: a system with defined rules, another person with emotions and motivations, or yourself and your own internal framework. In reality, most situations involve at least two, if not all three. What you need to do is figure out which is the dominant force. That gives you an immediate strategic advantage. The representative initially offered only a 20% discount for cash payment, but I knew the system likely had flexibility built in for exactly this scenario: immediate payment versus an extended payment arrangement. Systems are binary in the sense that they operate by definable rules and constraints. If you know what the rules are by which the system runs, you can hack it. This could be a corporate policy, government regulation, or a digital platform or software. Systems are my favorite element to manipulate because they are predictable and consistent. This rep told me the maximum discount he could provide was 20%, 3 different times. Now, 20% is better than nothing, but I believed, based on my knowledge of the system, there is more room for larger discounts. I replied to his offer, "That's very generous, thank you, but I can't pay that today. Is there another way you can look at it so that we can resolve this now?" I put the result in the hands of the representative and the system. When I negotiate a medical bill, I recognize I'm dealing with both a person and a billing system. Examples of dealing with people inside of systems are everywhere, and it makes up most of your day-to-day life. For example, just last weekend I went to Lowe's to buy a new pump for the fountain in my front garden. A taped up item with broken packaging immediately caught my eye. It was obvious the product was never used, but the packaging looked like it had maybe been nicked with a box cutter when they opened the shipment. When I got to the checkout, I asked if I could have a discount because of the damaged package. The cashier immediately gave me 20% off, no questions asked. This is a system advantage. American consumers especially like new stuff, and this packaging was blemished. Lowe's knows this and doesn't want inventory sitting stagnant. So Lowe's gives staff flexibility to offer discounts, like when they give military or senior discounts. Intuitively knowing this, all I have to do is politely ask the cashier, who also intuitively knows all of these things. Additionally, if she had said no, I would have just said, "I'll go back and grab a better looking one off the shelf." And this will hold up her already backed up line and force her to suspend the transaction with the other items she already rung up for me. Now, I know what you might be thinking, and I don't want everything for free. No doubt about it, I am manipulating the system to my advantage, but I wouldn't be nasty about it or cause harm to the person or the system. I'm polite, I'm cordial, I'm just one human talking with another human, working inside of a large system to get a result that works well for me and for everyone else. People naturally want to avoid conflict and hassle. Most people don't want to be difficult, and the path of least resistance for this cashier was to give me a discount I would be happy with. People are less predictable than binary systems, but working with people offers the highest potential ROI. Human interactions involve emotions, which can be both challenging and advantageous. The healthcare representative is a person that I have to interact with in order to access the binary system of the healthcare system. The system is what I really want to manipulate. The representative is the gatekeeper. I want to show him that it's best for him if he can let me get what I want out of the system. After the third time that he told me there was nothing else he could do, I was polite but firm and asked if a manager could approve a larger discount. Appealing to the emotions that I don't know but can guess, like a quota, I would say things like, "We can get this wrapped up for both of us today." And this leverages my understanding of the system while acknowledging the human element. After he told me 3 times that it was impossible to give me a larger discount, he put me on a brief hold and got his manager. When he came back on the line, he gave me nearly a 60% discount, which is triple what he told me was the maximum he could give me. This representative operates according to his own internal system of values, motivations, and constraints. Everyone has a set of rules that are 100% made up, programmed into their subconscious that they follow every day of their lives. None of these rules objectively exist, and people can choose to change them anytime they want. If you find the right leverage, you can get anyone to do things outside of these rules. The healthcare representative is working within company guidelines, but also has personal incentives. Maybe he needs to meet his quota, or he just wants to end his day on a positive note. By framing my request as mutually beneficial rather than confrontational, I connected with his human desires while still pushing for what I want. So far, we've identified 3 different parties: the healthcare billing infrastructure, the representative and his manager. That's one system and 2 people with desires and emotions and similar goals. The final piece of the puzzle is the one that can ruin everything, but most people don't even acknowledge that it exists. Let me ask you a question. What if I had approached the healthcare bill with frustration or entitlement, or raised my voice after he denied me a larger discount for the 3rd time? I probably would have hit immediate resistance. The representative would have shut down emotionally and refused to get his manager. You see, even when you think you're only dealing with external factors, you're always engaging with your own internal system, your habits, your beliefs, your emotions, your resources. This is the hardest system to objectively analyze. If you don't have self-awareness, you might sabotage the negotiation by letting emotions override your strategy. If my emotions became unhinged, or I believed I was being treated unfairly, that could negatively affect the person I am trying to get to cooperate with me. You would leave the call thinking they are being difficult, but it was your own rigidness that prevented you from getting what you want. Before you make the call, enter the boardroom, or approach the salesman, you need to spend some time thinking through your approach and looking at your own place of reference from an objective point of view. This is difficult because we all believe that our view is the right view. You can use thoughtful questions to reframe your approach and overcome this limitation. Instead of asking, "How can I get what I deserve?" ask, "What outcome would be beneficial for both parties?" Even when working by yourself on projects, the right questions can change your framework and see other perspectives you may not have thought of before. Pretend that you are working with your twin you. The you that wants the optimal outcome, that's the you that's watching this video right now. And you are working with a different you that is kind of lazy and takes shortcuts or wants immediate gratification. Ask questions like, what do I really want to accomplish? What is the outcome I want to avoid? How do I know I am right? What would I tell my best friend to do if they were working on this? Over the years, I've come up with a list of more than 50 questions that I use to change my perspective and reframe my reality before I begin a project or enter a negotiation. See the link in the comments and I'll give it to you for free. Before you begin any task, Take a moment to identify which element, a system, a person, or yourself, will be your primary focus. Ask yourself, am I going to be working with or against a person, a system, or myself? For systems, make sure you know the rules, the guidelines, and be on the lookout for how these rules could provide flexibility to get the result you want. For people, connect with their motivations and emotions. Ask, what do they want? And then reach for a solution that enables both of you to get what you want. For yourself, question your assumptions and manage your reactions. By correctly identifying what or who you're working with, you can transform random interactions into strategic opportunities and start winning more than you lose. Once you know what you're working with, you can find the right leverage point. Once you find the right leverage point, you can get what you want. Once this becomes a habit, you will see the opportunity everywhere. It transforms the way you see the world and how you interact with people you interact with every day. In short, it will change your life. Go, try it, and be great.